Garba Shehu, Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity to the President, is still with us in the studio. So is Architect Ayuba John Bassa, who's National Coordinator of Gwoza Christian Community Association. You were trying to make a point, Alhaji Shehu, just before we went on break. I hope you remember where you were and what point you're trying to make just before we left.
I think you need to prompt me. We were on...
I'm trying my best to remember the question that I had asked you, but... You
okay. It was, he said
yes,
that Boko Haram terrorists walked freely,
AK-47s,
slinging AK-47s, and there was a policy of the military not to shoot at them until they shot first.
He didn't say that there was a policy. He just said that the military refused to shoot at them until those people shoot first.
So what did,
I was asking you if there was a policy.
Okay. Well, to the best of my knowledge, I'm not aware there is any policy, and I don't even think a policy in that regard can be justified. Otherwise, where else are all of these numbers coming? You know, day in, day out, this number of service people killed by Boko Haram, this number.
What benefit does he have to come here and give falsehood?
I have no reason to charge him for falsehood. But what I'm saying is that in my assumption, in my imagination, if there is a report that 10, 20 terrorists had been killed, someone must have killed them. And so therefore, it isn't that. My sense is that there is inadequacy of the numbers. And the country, obviously...
Inadequacy of what numbers?
In terms of the manning, whether
of
police,
the security personnel?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big issue for the country, which we need to build. But this country also will pay for health, will pay for education, international affairs and sports and all of that. As I speak to you, I mean, this clip you just showed of the National Assembly debate, my friend, my Honorable Shehu, saying 1 soldier to 5 kilometers or something like that. Yeah, but the question would have been to the National Assembly, when the governors came together and said, well, please, Mr. President, go take 1 billion emergency funding from our savings. Go and spend it on the military. I'm not sure we have had the last word from the National Assembly on this matter. So they have to be funded. As I speak to you now, the civil defense, they've been going back and forth, and they're being asked, the budget cannot take salary for 36,000 additional. So this is a problem for the country.
Let's go to Lagos and take some questions from my colleagues.
Yeah, Mr. Bassa, I'd like to ask you, when you said that government needs to listen to community indigenous residents such as yourself, what did you mean exactly?
Well, they might find a solution if they engage community people like us that are very close to the real people on ground. Because even if a fly, passes somebody's ears in Goza, either Limankara, Pulka, and where all our IDPs are, I got called immediately. I get information immediately. Mubi, Yola, Taraba, Nasarawa, Jos, Abuja, Lagos. They live in community. We have them. So whatever happens, we get information, a good information. These people are coming every night to look for food, to scout for food in Goza town. They do come in the night with their ammunitions, pump into your house and take food, cut away food, and run away. Most of the night, my house is just 500 meters away from my first mother's village. And 2 months ago, my stepmother went to a farm just at that, my first village. That is around 500 kilometers. She was shot dead.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So you cannot leave Goza circumference for just half a kilometer and be free. These people are around. They are very close. They are scouting. They are on the watch. Who will pass here? Can we find some money from him? If there's no money, can we find some food from them? So nobody goes out to farm because they will, arrest you and harass you and take whatever they want to take, or at the end, they will kill you. That's what we are saying.
Mr.
We
Bassa,
know that they exist.
Sometimes
we know that they are there.
Sometimes we hear some security agencies say they are doing what they can. They've apprehended certain people. They've intercepted certain people. But in your particular case, why do you think that government is not listening to you or to the community?
Chamberlain, if I give you a straightforward answer, I may not be true. I don't know, they have their own view of a thing, but you need the eye of a person that is, in the heat to be able to see what that person is eyeing. We are directly involved. They are not directly involved. Sometimes when we speak, they think we are tilting, our political allegiance to another side or another side. We don't have any politics in mind, actually, when we speak our truth about anything that is happening. Whatever we pin down, either on paper or whatever, we are making sure that it is truth, the truth, and nothing but the truth. This thing is happening. I believe the government may decide to, begin to involve people like us in discussion.
Well,
to find a way forward.
Yeah, let me ask Mr. Shehu. This is it's a tough one for the entire country, but speaking about government, because several, even our colleagues who have been to some of these areas, not just in Maiduguri, even in Zamfara, the narrative appears to be the same, wherein you have some of these either bandits or insurgents who are who use civilians as shields. So even though the police can see them, some people can see them, but they can't exactly shoot. What is the thinking of government about this? I mean, are they maintaining the policy which you spoke about? Don't shoot until you're fired at first. And how long? What exactly is the strategy? Because some suggest that the policing is a challenge, not getting the kind of results. And then for those who may have members, family members in those areas, they may not give information because there appears to be some economic gains, if I could say that, of joining some of these bandits or Boko Haram. What's government's approach to this?
Well, thank you, Chamberlain. And to say that the commitment of the administration of Muhammadu Buhari to eliminating these flashpoints, these wars, is total. And there is nothing that justifies any theory about compromise or accommodating them or failing to do the right thing. I speak to you, you mentioned Zamfara. As I speak to you today, Zamfara is stabilized. And wherever the bandits are, they're being flushed out. The Nigerian army is deep into those forests. And collaborators, informants are being nabbed and would face the prosecution. If we have in Kaduna State, Birnungwari and Kaduna, go there now, you see police are doing patrols, the military is doing patrols, they are going into their nooks and to the villages and neighboring communities. Again, they are nabbing kidnappers and the informants and all of that. And we have to thank God for, look, this country, we just came out of Easter, major religious, engagement in the country, incident-free, more or less. So people are working.
The question is, why did it take so long for the president to intervene in Zamfara, for instance? I mean, given that people had been complaining about Zamfara for a while, I remember at least one senator I know has been talking about this matter in Zamfara, Senator Marafa. He always brings it to the fore on the floor of the House. And it would seem that he took Zamfara citizens' protest first before the president eventually intervened.
No, people don't have their eyes on the ball in Zamfara. That's why they steadily were jolted by the spike. But the president's mind had been there.
How do you mean eye on the ball? What does that mean?
That they had not focused on what had been going on. More than 2 years ago, I was with the president. He flew to Zamfara and to Dansadao. He wore military uniform. He launched a major military operation in that, and there was calm.
There was calm
after all of that.
Which had to do with cattle rustling, from what we understand. But
and
this
banditry,
now,
yes.
and banditry. But this one now is about the gold rush in Zamfara, and it was they had gotten to a point, you know, where entire villages were being ransacked. You know, where it seemed that law and order had broken down completely before the president finally intervened. We even remember the governor of the state saying, "I'm no longer the chief security officer of my state." Why did he have to get to the point where a governor felt helpless before a presidential intervention took place?
Well, you have, you know, tucked in so many into this short intervention. And to say that, you know, that the manifestations of crime are many and they keep changing. It's a dynamic situation. Maybe if the focus at one time is this, then it moves to the next one and to the next one. So the criminals are also planning, as authorities are also planning. Never, in any case, have we had a situation in which there was this deep communal collaboration and infiltration by banditry. And so therefore, you had to just go beyond policing and the Air Force bombardment and the army tackling people. You got to go to the communities and get to them to buy into this thing.
Mr. Shehu, some people have to ask, what is happening in the country? Because we're seeing a lot more proliferation of non-state actors threatening to overwhelm the apparatus of state. There are more and more people who are carrying arms who are not supposed to be. And it was seen that in some areas, they reign supreme. In your statement to the Bishop Mamza, you talked about warlords who are reigning in communities, and that this community leaders should call them out. The question is, who protects them when they call out warlords in places that seem to be ungoverned spaces?
Let me say to you that we like to pretend that we don't seem to think that we live in a regional ecosystem which has degenerated generally in terms of security. With all of the things that are happening with the movement of light weapons, as you buy okra or gari in some markets in neighboring countries, you go and buy weapons, AK-47 and pistols.
These are problems that we saw coming. So, I mean, these are problems we saw coming when Libya went under. What did we do about our own security agencies?
What did you have to build a wall against, say, 1,500 kilometers that, you know, binds Nigeria and Niger?
Well, we can build the capacity of our security agencies.
The thing is that we are doing the most. But as I said, and you must sympathize with the military and the police and the civil defense, because as I said a short while ago, they operate in a budget system that sometimes pretends as if they don't understand. Funding, huge billions will go into constituency projects. Sometimes people cannot even see and account for those projects, yet they are there. And then these people are buying all of the training institutions in the police, about 26 of them in the country. I don't think they can train more than 36,000 new recruits in the country in a year. So what are you dealing with? We have 370,000 policemen. That's too low for us. And in fact, even perhaps by the time you do the eyepiece and you do the electronic, you know, salary schemes, these numbers might even not be up to 370,000. So there are challenges that Nigerians, we just have to come together and think and act together so that they are our own problems. These things aren't just Buhari's problems. They are our own problems.
Well, there's definitely, I mean, there's a question of long-term plan. What is the long-term plan? Yes, there are these interventions which we see over and over again.
They are ongoing.
Yes.
For instance, I just mentioned the police. The police is working to increase numbers to 660,000, and they are recruiting. Civil defense, when they get the clearance, they recruit. The army is recruiting, Air Force is recruiting, and they're training, and they're buying weapons.
I've been told that that's this conversation we have to extend for another day. But quickly, your closing words to us, Mr. Bassa. They're asking me, people are wondering whether you'll be willing to continue to talk to your brothers who are in Boko Haram to drop their weapons against the Nigerian state. We cannot continue in a situation like this. Whatever it is made them, you know, pick up weapons against the state. Do you think that there is a possibility that they could drop their weapons against the Nigerian state?
Yeah, one cannot just lose hope. I love them. I don't want to lose any one of them. I want them to live a good life. I want them to develop this country as theirs so that we can live in peace. And
so you're optimistic that they can drop their weapons?
Well, if you talk to them, they will say we either die or we succeed in our mission. That ideology is the problem. Removing that ideology with them requires that they open up their door and you sit with them. And, you know, it will take time if only they will avail themselves, come forward. People like Garba Shehu might decide to volunteer with another, like a sheikh, sit down with them, teach them another way, you know, the Quranic teaching. And I would like to thank the governor of Borno State.
Well, I'm afraid we don't have time for that, but we have to go now. I have to thank you, gentlemen, for coming to our studios this morning. Garba Shehu, who is Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity to the President. And we've also had with us architect Ayuba John Bassa, who is a National Coordinator, Gwoza Christian Community Association. The program continues in a moment. Please stay with us.